Hey guys, talking with Natasha at Next Level Conversations. My next guest is a very popular radio DJ host here in New York City on the Elvis Duran show. Her name is Medha Gandhi, and you won't believe who she's related to. Gandhi. Medha Gandhi, welcome.
Hi, Natasha. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. Okay, are you really related to the Mahatma Gandhi?
I am. I know. I always leave it right there. Yes.
I had no idea. At first I thought like Gandhi, which is like a known last name, you know, in Indian culture. Mm-hmm. I just didn't realize that it traced back to the Gandhi.
It does. He is my great-great-grandfather. So my uncle actually grew up with him a little bit. He's 12 years older than my dad. So my dad did not have any interaction with him because he died before my dad was born. But my uncle, we actually have pictures of him being carried around by Gandhi when he was a little baby, and my grandma with them at the Dandiya March and all kinds of stuff. And yes, that is my heritage. And I try not to lean into it too much. Mm-hmm. Because we're very different. Mm-hmm.
You're not an iconic peacemaker?
I am not. But I think it's interesting when you connect yourself to somebody famous, mm-hmm. the comparisons that come in and how people expect you to walk in their footsteps and be a disciple and not a descendant. And I just, we're very different. So I don't lean into it too much, despite the fact that they do call me by my last name at work.
Gandhi.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you're known by on air. That's your on-air name, too.
It is.
Well, how did you find it? When did you find this out, the relation?
Oh, my whole life. I've always known that.
And, it's interesting. I mean, the first thought I had were, I wonder what traits she has from the Gandhi. And was that something that ever crossed your mind?
It has and it hasn't. It crosses my mind in the ways that grandparents and my dad will point little things out, even though my dad didn't know him, just the stories and the lore of him growing up. They would tell you, I don't know that I agree with this, that I'm very audacious and bold and daring, which he was as well. Mm-hmm. And they say he would be so proud of you doing your own thing and going in your own direction. I also think we're both short and have very round faces. So I see those things as well.
It's interesting. I mean, when you say that you've gone into your own route, what do you mean by that?
So you're Indian, of Indian descent, mm-hmm. right?
Yes.
And you know that entertainment isn't necessarily what our parents or our culture values or promotes or pushes their children to do. All the cousins in my family are doctors.
Oh, shocker.
Yeah, engineers. That's the lane that they're all in. And I went in a completely different direction.
Right.
I thought this was fun. I thought, ooh, how much fun to just laugh every single day. And that's what I get to do at my day job. And they've been supportive, a little bit cautious mm-hmm. about things, but now they're much more on board. My family is much more on board with how everything is going.
Because you're so successful.
I don't know about that. We're working on it.
But I mean, you're one of the major national shows, based here in New York City, Elvis Duran show. You've done so great in your career. How did you get into radio? And then what was that decision like? And was your family against it at some point?
They were against it at some point. The way it happened was actually I was living in South Florida and I was in school and I had a paper due. And I thought to myself, I don't need to finish this paper.
We were talking about this.
Yeah.
Florida puts you in that mindset.
Florida is an alternate universe.
Right. It's not a real place.
Yeah. I thought, I don't need to finish this. It's fine. Uh-huh. I will just drop out of school and get a place on the beach and be a bartender and I'll be happy for the rest of my life. And as soon as I thought that, I thought, you haven't got to get the hell out of here. I opened up my laptop and I applied to Ohio State because my sister was in Ohio.
Okay, good.
And I got in, and when I moved, one of my very best friends who was still there from when I was little sent me an internship. Mm-hmm. And she said, I know you're miserable here right now. You miss Florida. I think this internship might make you happy. And it was for a radio station. And she was right. And here we are all these years later. Wow. I started as an intern in college. They hired me full time when I was still in college, which I didn't understand at the time how cool that was.
Yeah.
Now I think, oh my God, you idiots. You took a risk on a college kid. That's crazy. And then that was it. And here I am.
Internships can really change your life. I
had an
internship. Actually, my first internship was at Fox 7 in Austin.
Oh, wow.
And I'm in Fox New York here. But that was the first time I saw breaking news and I saw reporters, and I really saw that television was not as glamorous as I thought. And it's doing your makeup in the live truck on your way to like shots fired at a high school. You know, it's not glamorous. It's scary. It's real, and it just kind of like it made me actually want to get into the business even more.
And now you're in New York City.
Now I'm in New York City. So you're in the internship in Ohio, and you're loving it. When did you get the call for Elvis Duran?
I got the call from Elvis Duran 6 years ago. I was in Boston at the time. You were in Boston.
Boston.
We have a lot of Boston connections in common.
Yes. Where were you in Boston?
I was, like, where did I live?
Yeah.
I lived in Medford.
Okay.
I know I'm saying that incorrectly because they like to say Medfa.
Medford.
Yes, Medford.
Okay, Medford.
Which was right by the radio station,
Yeah.
Kiss 108.
Yes.
That is where I worked. And I had just re-signed a contract there after a long contract negotiation. And I got a call saying, hey, can you just send us your resume? We want to take a look at, we're brushing up on all of our stuff. We want to make sure that we have a fresh batch of people out there. So I said, okay, sure, no problem. And then they called and asked if I wanted to come meet everybody and if I would like to audition. And of course, I said, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, Natasha, that started the biggest crap storm maybe of my life. It was crazy. It was a crazy, crazy time. Because I had just re-signed, like I said, in Boston. And I don't know if you'd ever heard anything about the host from Boston. He did not like it. And it turned into World War III on all sides.
Who?
Maddie in the Morning?
Oh.
Yeah, I was his producer.
Ah, okay. This is making a lot more sense. I didn't realize you were embroiled in all of that.
Yeah.
So you re-signed with them.
Yes.
And you are now getting a call from Elvis Duran.
Yes.
And you decide to go there.
Well, I decided I had to try it.
Yeah, of course.
Why would you not take a risk?
How could you turn that down?
Right. I thought, sure, they're never going to hire me, but at the very least, I appreciate you taking a look at me and thinking that I'm worthwhile enough to come and meet everyone. Because if you're in radio, you know that Elvis is the best. You hear nothing but good things about him.
Yeah.
The show is great. The team is great. And I thought, okay, sure, I'll give it a try, not realizing the crap that it was going to start.
What happened?
Where do I begin? I'm sure everyone's going to have their own version.
Yeah.
My version is Matt got incredibly upset with me for leaving. And I will say we had a great relationship. By the time I left, we had a really good relationship. If anyone knows anything about him in that market, he's a tough guy to get along with. And we had reached a place of being very cool. The show was running smoothly. We were getting along. Everything was good. And I had just re-signed. And he took it very personally. I was looking at it professionally, and he took it more of a slight to him. So because of that, he just turned on me, and it became crazy. I mean, on the air, he would go off at me. Off the air, he would go off at me. We'd have listeners calling and texting in saying, what is going on?
Was he being mean to you?
Oh, yeah.
Like just
for
nasty?
Sure. Just very mean. Every day for a solid 3 months.
Did it though spike ratings?
I don't know. That's a good question. I should probably go take a look at that.
People do love some drama.
I think it may have. I don't have an answer to that, but I know it definitely sparked emotion in a lot of people because they just said, what is this? What are you guys doing?
It must have been so stressful.
Very much so. I moved to Boston because they recruited me to come there. And when I moved there, I felt like I ran into a wall, just full speed into a brick wall. I had broken up with my boyfriend. I didn't have my dog. It was the first time living alone. I thought I was walking into this environment that wanted me. When I got there, I realized not only did the show not totally want me, the city is a tough city to adjust to, especially if you are brown and you come there.
Right.
They make you work for it. They really do. And then after working so hard for a few years to build this great relationship with him, then watching that fall apart the way that it did and why it did, it was horrible and it was very uncomfortable. And it was the first time in my life that I felt like my job was a job because I would wake up and I didn't want to go in and I didn't want to deal with this every day. You know, I am not really a crier very often. There were a couple times I walked out of the studio, I went into another studio and cried. And I thought, what am I doing? Why am I letting this get to me so badly? And it was because we were tight. And we've talked a little bit after. We're not nearly as close as we used to be. But it was definitely tough. It was a hostile work environment for sure.
Did he ever apologize?
No.
So what have the conversations been after you left?
What have they been? Well, I created and produced a one-man show for him that broke every record in Boston. And one of the conversations was a thank you for that. And that's kind of it, where it lies.
I'm sure there are a lot of people who don't like the people that they work with, don't like their coworkers or their job, or they feel like they're losing that, their spirit to work and what they love to do, their passion. What would be your advice for them?
I think if you're passionate about something, this is sort of part of the road to your success. Is it not? I think so many people look at success as this sort of steady incline when the path to get there is actually spaghetti. You fall down, you take turns, you curve around, things break, and eventually you get there, but it's not this pretty path. And I think you stick things out. If there's something that matters to you, stick it out. I also would say if you get to a point where you can't and you think this is actually ruining my mental health, my physical health, whatever it is, then cut ties and get out of there. But don't let other people ruin dreams for you.
Do you like your coworkers now?
I love them.
Good.
Truly. I think they are the best. I was really anxious to come here because of what happened in Boston when I felt so excited, and then I also felt like I hit a wall. And I knew I had to take this opportunity, but I was so nervous thinking this is the top of the mountain with radio, and these people are going to have the biggest egos, not want me there. Prepare yourself. You weren't prepared last time. Be prepared this time. And when I got there and I encountered all of them, and they were so gracious and embraced me wholeheartedly and played around, I thought, they're definitely going to try to steal my organs because this does not feel normal for what is going on. I even told my sister, I said, they're coming for my kidneys. Something weird is happening.
They're harvesting.
Yes. Not cool, but they're awesome. They're really great.
Isn't that such a great feeling?
Yeah.
And in New York, right, when you think that it is so dog eat dog, it is, you meet some of the most incredible people here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think one of the things about New York is to be here, to exist here, you have to be a hustler. You have to be ambitious, and you have to be passionate. And you're surrounded by a lot of people who have reached sort of this pinnacle, and the chip on the shoulder is not there as much as it is in other places where they feel maybe I'm still working towards something. A lot of people here think I'm here now, so let me just be a good person and get along with the people around me. Not that you're not still going to run into that every now and then, but it was very different.
Wow, we have the same thoughts. It's kind of crazy.
Could be of Indian descent. We all have the same brain.
We all have the same thoughts. You interview so many stars and celebrities. Like, who's been your favorite interview, and then who's been, like, the worst?
Ooh, this is
or someone where
good.
you were, like, shocked, like, oh, they weren't, like, don't meet your heroes. They weren't as nice as you thought.
Well, I will say he was never my hero, but Scott Stapp, who is the lead singer of Creed, was such a turd. I can't even, he showed up at our station. He demanded to have a place to meditate before the interview.
What?
I gave him a studio. He said no, chose the kitchen instead, and then proceeded to get pissed at everyone who would come into the kitchen as though they needed to respect his territory. Nobody knew what he was doing in the kitchen, meditating like a weirdo. And then when he actually came on the air, he was so crappy to everybody. They were asking, Creed had sort of fallen apart at that point. People were asking what happened. He said, you don't know this already? You haven't Googled me? You didn't do your homework? I fired them. They didn't get rid of me. I gave them their pink slip, their walking papers. And he wouldn't raise his voice above almost a whisper. He just sucked. He was terrible. Scott Stapp, didn't like him. Great people, though, there are so many. And I will say this, too. I've noticed a huge difference in certain celebrities when they came to Columbus or to Boston versus when they come to Elvis in New York City.
Okay.
They're just amazing and the best, and they're smiley and they're totally on. And then in the smaller markets, they were kind of not as lovely.
Okay.
They didn't want to be there. but okay. So that's been interesting.
It's felt like more of a chore to be there.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think they just thought, oh, this is so beneath me and I don't want to be here. But then they come into Elvis's studio and I think, oh my God, who is that? That is not the same person that I met in Boston. But great people. I love Bill Nye.
Oh,
I think he's amazing.
so cool.
Yeah, he just got his Presidential Medal of Freedom
Yep, that's right.
or Honor.
It's the highest honor for civilian.
Yes, he got that. He was great. He's funny.
Yeah.
He's snarky. He's really smart. I feel like I could talk to him all day. I totally selfishly, Roman Reigns, a babe. Oh my God, he's so cute. He's a wrestler. I didn't even know who he was before he came in, and then he came in. I thought, oh, that man is beautiful.
God, I got to start watching.
I don't think you do. I don't think you're really missing out on anything. He was really cute. There have been, there are so many people who I think are just amazing and talented, and watching people perform. We love the Jonas Brothers, Michael Bublé, Ed Sheeran. They're all, at least from what I gather, very genuinely nice people.
Yeah.
And they just want to have fun and they enjoy what they do. Michael Bublé's hilarious. I like having Bobby Flay in. It's fun to build a relationship with people and then be able to play with them.
And also like a good range of people too. I mean, not just musicians, but I mean like, Bill Nye, and you've got such a range.
So many different. Oh, Maitrey Ramakrishnan from Never Have I Ever.
Oh yeah.
I loved her. She was fun. And Barbara Corcoran, she's awesome too. I mean, again, I could just go on and on.
Yeah, there's a lot of great people.
Really?
Yeah. And it is, you kind of start to, there's got to be like layers of interview. Like you start to break down who they really are as the interview progresses.
For sure. I mean, we were sort of talking about that a little bit off the air. It's a totally different ballgame. One, when you build a relationship with somebody and you know them a little better. But the more time you have to sit down and talk to someone, the more of a solid interview you can get from them. The more comfortable they get, the more they want to tell you about things that maybe in the quick segment that you have on the air they wouldn't have said. But now that you've built this relationship, or maybe you have some more time in a podcast form or however it works, it's a different interview.
Yeah.
I'm really glad you're getting to do this, by the way. This is cool.
It's exciting, and it's great because I'm getting to know you better too, which is my goal for all these interviews. You said that you kind of hit a wall in Boston. Do you feel like you've kind of broken through that now that you're in New York?
Oh, for sure. I felt like I broke through it even when I was in Boston. I just wasn't ready. I feel like I left Ohio as a kid. I grew up in Boston. That is what I will say. Boston made me an adult. That is where I realized I'm on my own. I don't have all of these comforts that I had before. I would highly recommend anybody leave the place where you feel comfortable and go somewhere else just for a minute, because I think that's kind of when you find yourself and you realize, who am I without all the people I know around me? Am I actually fun or funny, or did they just lift me up? Can I navigate things on my own without running to my big sister? It was interesting, but I think I broke through that wall while I was in Boston, and it was a learning lesson.
It's really about stepping out of your comfort zone.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's where you find the magic.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, as cliche as it is, you just really find out what works. And you're right. Like, what were you being propped up on? And what is it like when you're out on your own now?
It's a confidence builder.
Yeah.
For sure. And I also think one of my favorite quotes is, everything you ever wanted is on the other side of fear. And if you look at everything in your life that way, it's so true, because we're really held back by the things that scare us. But if you can just muscle up a little bit and get through it, you're going to find the best stuff on the other side of that.
I want to ask you about your hair journey.
Yes, let's talk about it.
When did that happen?
That happened. Okay, so I went to Thailand in 2023 in summertime, and I came back and I thought, oh, I'm exhausted. I thought I hurt my back from a crazy boat ride that we had there. And I will usually power through things, but I went to work that Monday and I came home and I just thought, I can't do this. I was closing my eyes in the breaks. I was just really exhausted. And I called my sister and I said, hey, I'm not going to go to work that morning. The next morning, it was a Tuesday. I said, I'm not going to go to work, because she's always checking on me. Where are you? What are you doing? What's happening? I said, I don't feel good. I'm going to go to the doctor. I'll update you. She said, cool. I'll see you later.
Oh.
I woke up in the emergency room of a horrible medical center, and my sister was sitting at the end of my bed. And what they believed at first was a combination. They weren't sure what was going on. They thought, okay, really bad kidney stone, maybe appendicitis, maybe a virus from where you just were. it ended up being about 3 weeks in the hospital. And it turned out that I ended up having pyelonephritis in one of my kidneys, which is terrible, not great.
What is that?
It's basically your kidney dying a little bit. It's an infection. Through all of that, we got through it. We got better. And I ended up having a PICC line for a while, which is, you know what that is. I know you have your own journey as well.
I mean, this is serious stuff.
Very.
Yeah, I mean, in the hospital for 3 weeks.
I didn't realize at the time how serious it was. It's one of those, in retrospect, you think, damn, that was a little crazy. But thankfully, after a few months, I started to get better. I was able to walk again, go to the gym, run around, have a great time. And I was sitting down on my couch with my boyfriend, brushing my hair, getting ready to go to a Jets game. And I looked at the brush, and you would have thought someone just chopped chunks of my hair. It was clumps, handfuls of my hair. And I thought, what is that? And my first thought was, I'm sick again. This is crazy. I cannot believe so much of this hair is coming out. And just for craps and giggles, I brushed again, and it just all came out.
Oh my gosh.
And of course, I cried. And my boyfriend starts Googling things and coming back with everything it wasn't, which was stressing me out even more. So please stop.
WebMD.
Yeah. He's like, maybe you're going through menopause really early. I said, you're not helping. What? Not a chance, but okay. And from that point, for another month and a half, every time I would brush my hair, it just came out. And I will say, I'm not a gracious bald person. I wish I could be that person. I did not want to let my hair go. And it was really tough. And what happened was, I'm sure as you know, it's telogen effluvium, which is your body reacting to trauma. It happens to people all the time, whether you go through cancer, you had COVID, childbirth, a broken leg. If your body has medical trauma, I didn't know until it was too late, your hair is the first thing to go because your body redirects all of its nutrients to getting better, to the thing that was sick. And basically my hair just said, okay, we're going to take a break here. We're going to fix your kidney. And it was almost 3 months to the day that I got the kidney infection that my hair started to fall out. And they say it's about 3 months after whatever that medical trauma is that you'll start to lose it. So I lost a ton. And as an Indian woman, I know you know, it was tough. Yeah. It was, I realized a lot about myself. I was a little more vain than I thought I was. I hide behind my hair a lot. I don't ever really pull it back and wear it up. I always had it down around my cheeks because I'm like, oh, I have chubby cheeks. I can hide behind it. But all of a sudden you can't. And it was just, I don't want to say it was traumatic because I feel at this point, in hindsight, I don't want to be dramatic. I'm glad my body is healthy. But it was tough losing the hair in front of everyone.
It also is your reality, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. I hope you don't diminish how, because it is traumatic. Losing your hair. It's like all of a sudden your identity is gone, right? And then you're like, oh my God, how do I leave the house?
Right. And you have a lot of great solutions with that, which I would love to talk about how you and I really connected about the Verma Foundation.
Yes.
But yeah, it was tough. And we're on camera every day. And it was getting into Jingle Ball season and award season and all the pictures and all the cameras, everything. I just would think, oh God, don't look at me. Please go away. And I shared what happened online. And that's what really changed everything for me. Because you know that whole saying, pain shared is pain lessened. So I shared that. And the amount of women who wrote back, oh my God, same. And I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help myself. I'm so embarrassed. I hate this. What are you doing? How are you growing it back? It was intense and amazing. And it was very uplifting and at the same time very sad that so many women go through this and I had no idea.
Yeah.
And nobody talks about it.
No one
They just
talks
keep it to
about
themselves.
So what did you do? Did you wear a wig? Did you?
Girl, I did everything.
Okay.
I did
What
hats
worked?
for a while. I got hair toppers thanks to my lovely
Hair
hairdresser.
toppers?
Yes, it's really just like a clip-in. I'll show you. I got halo hair. I did all of the things. And I started a process that everyone asks what I did. And I don't like to say it because it's so different for everybody. And I don't want people to waste their money doing what I did. I think the first thing you need to do is get a blood test, as you know, because you could just be deficient of a few vitamins. After that, consult your doctor and your dermatologist because those are the people who handle hair loss. And I started a system and then I used minoxidil and started taking iron. And my hair really did start to just grow back like a chia pet.
Really?
Yeah, it really did. And I was very excited about it. But I'm not going to lie, the other day I was brushing my hair and I felt like a lot came out. So I'm panicking now.
Yeah.
We'll see. We're going to clock it.
Oh, so are you going to go back to the doctor and just kind of...
I go back all the time just to keep an eye on everything because now it's weird. You go from being the person that has no medical history of anything to now you have this history that you just have to explain over and over and over and over. And you wish, okay, at some point I wish it would just go away.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. You're just that. Now you have that.
Did you change your shampoo? Do you use...
Oh, yeah. That was part of the hair care system was the shampoo. The shampoo I use now, I can feel it tingle. And I love that. You leave it in for 10 minutes. Cold water. Cold water is the best way. But
cold water showers?
Cold water hair, at least for your hair and your skin. It's
Okay,
better with the cold water.
What kind of shampoo is it? Like something anyone
So
can
it's called
buy?
the Awaken Hair Care System. Yes, anybody can buy it. It's a shampoo, conditioner, an oil, a spray. I think those are the 4 things.
What did you learn from this entire journey?
So many things. I learned to talk about things that people don't talk about because you'll be very surprised how many people relate to you that you might help and in turn will totally help you get through something. I learned nothing is nearly as important as your health. I learned that my friends and family are incredible and amazing and then I have a really supportive team at work who said, I don't care how many days you have to take off. You do what you need to do and we will be here when you come back. And I just learned life is beautiful, and in all of the beauty, there's some really crappy stuff. But if you didn't have the crappy days, the really good ones wouldn't feel so good. So you just roll with it.
When I was losing my hair, I thought, I've got to be the only person who's feeling like I'm so vain. How can I care about my hair so much? I should be caring more about whether or not I'm going to live. But my first thought was like, oh my gosh, am I going to lose my hair? And so then I realized there are no resources out there. And how could it be if everyone is losing their hair during chemo? And so I created this cap wig, and when I launched it and I started to hear about the stories from women who are like, oh my gosh, I needed this in my life. It changed my life. It helps me get through treatment. I thought, wow, I felt so validated in my feelings. And the thing I realized was it's not about vanity. It's about dignity. And that's always how I felt moving forward.
That's a really good way to look at it. And I love what you're doing because one of the things that people don't talk about with fake hair, and we know at this point in the year 2025, so many people have so much fake hair. You look at someone and you think, wow, I want that. You could buy it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, wigs are really hot. And when you're not feeling well and you have to worry about or focus on putting on a wig, and you're just sweating and your hormones are off anyway from chemo or whatever it is that you're going through, a wig is really tough. Weaving anything into your hair is not even kind of sustainable because that hair is probably going to fall out.
Right.
Wearing a hat with hair that you can just put on and take off is a genius idea. It's so helpful. And I think that it has changed the way that so many women are dealing with it and looking at it at your catwalk. I loved seeing the women with their caps on.
And you were a model. You were a celebrity model at Capwalk.
I was just happy to be there. It was so cool. It was such a great event.
And I loved your dress. You just rocked it.
Oh, shout out to Nicole Miller.
So what's next for you?
Girl, I do not know. I have my podcast, Sauce on the Side. You can get it anywhere you get podcasts. I am actually an artist. My boyfriend and I have an art company. We had an art show in Manhattan last year. It was amazing. And that we're doing some really cool stuff. So I don't know specifically if we will have launched when this episode comes out. But I hope we have, and then I will update you on all of that.
What kind of art is it?
We do impasto.
Okay.
So it's a combination of mixed medium, acrylics on canvas. And one of the biggest things that people have said is, I wish you guys could make something that was more attainable and affordable for the everyday person, because it is a little bit pricey to buy art and for us to turn it around and ship it, all that kind of stuff. So this project will make it a lot more convenient and attainable for other people. And I'm excited about that. There's a lot of stuff that I'm looking forward to this year.
That'll be amazing. We'll put some art in our podcast studio here.
I would love to make you a piece. Oh my goodness. Okay, done. We'll make you
I can't
one.
wait. I'll be one of your first orders.
I love that.
Where can people find out more about the art studio and potential art gallery coming up too?
Okay, so you can, you can always follow me on Instagram at Baby Hot Sauce.
Baby Hot Sauce.
And the name of the art business is Zoga, Zoga.
Okay.
So if you go to Zoga_made on Instagram, that is where you can get a lot of information. And I don't want to say the name of the website yet because I don't know if we've launched at this moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So new.
I will
We're
give it
getting
to
an
you.
inside
Yes.
look.
Yeah.
Well, Medha Gandhi, thank you so much for joining me. I think the Gandhi would be so proud of you.
Oh, Natasha.